everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good night. Tonight we are in Tua-Tua KELADI class of Oma Library. Tonight we will learning about concrete matter from Joyee. We will talk about how their struggle with their platform in here. This class is a series. In Tua-Tua KELADI class, there is also a Rembuk Architecture XYZ project, and tonight we will concrete matter, and then the last there is Lanai with Hazik Arifin. First of all, I will introduce myself. My name is Lulu Ilmaknun, and then here I am with Satria and Nirma, who will help us in behind this room. And Nirma also will be a moderator in this class. Okay, before that I will introduce Oma Library with you. Oma Library is the philosophy of home from restless spirit that want to be a forum that facilitates access to architectural literacy and become a meeting point between students, academic, and practitioners. We also write a book. Book writing and editorial is done in Oma Library with the spirit of sharing knowledge. We also discuss it with Mr. Rich Satif. And through literacy, we try to start a discussion that answers the various challenges that exist in the field of architecture. Starting from the discussion of theory, history, criticism, and methods, investigation, as well as archiving and tracking architectural work. We also make an archive in all of class was done in Oma Library. So you can visit in omalibrary.org. There is, in here we put the video of our class and then the summary. We also have a genesis of design method class. Yesterday we was talk with Kevin about redefining context. This class is for who want to find the uniqueness the design, and the panelists have their uniqueness that can share with us. And then in the last class, we will meet with Eka Swadiansa. We will discuss about redefining prospectus. We also have a Darah Muda class. It's who want learn about how to start in small firm in architecture, and also they will talk about their experience when they're working in architecture firm and when they build their own firm architecture. And tomorrow we will, in 17th of December, we will talk about with Hendrik Tanuwijaya in the last class in Darah Muda series. And tonight, I will say welcome to Joyee as a panelist tonight. Hello, and also welcome to all of audience in here. And welcome to Nirma as a moderator tonight. Nirma, are you in here?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, Nirma, time is yours.
Thank you very much, Lulu, for the introduction. Hi everyone, my name is Nirma from Omah Library and I will be the moderator for tonight's event, Tua-Tua KELADI or The Old Mind, Episode 3. We have Joyee from Concrete Matter. Hey Joyee. As the previous two episodes, we already have Rizky Putra from Rembuk Arsitektur and Gary Yao from Project XYZ. Allow me to explain a little about the format of this webinar. First, I will give an introduction about the topic that Joyee would bring tonight, and then Joyee will present her materials to us. After that, we continue with the discussion session. So feel free if you have some questions to ask, please leave it on the chat room. I will invite you to open the camera later if you want, or I can help you read the questions. Before we invite Joyee to talk in this session, I want to give a little introduction first about Joyee and her platform. Concrete Matter is an online platform for the architecture community of Malaysia to share their thesis and build projects, debate topics or of architectural education, or just have conversation about the field. Concrete Matter has a casual format of discussion through Zoom Meet, whereas during the discussion session, all the audiences turn on the camera and ask a question for the speaker or give an opinion about the topic, which is, I think that what they do here is pretty much like bringing an offline atmosphere of discussion in online. Joyee, as the face of Concrete Matter, is a current postgraduate student in the University of Westminster in UK and has 4 years of working experience as a Part 1 assistant architect at Eo1 Design in Malaysia and FDAT Architects in Singapore. She founded Concrete Matter as a discourse and research digital platform during lockdown in 2020 and Concrete Atelier in 2021 as her own design platform. And for tonight, she will tell her side of story of how she built the platform, Concrete Matter. She has a concern about why do architects seem to take a longer time to grow compared with another creative fields like graphics, fashion, product, or advert designers, which I believe everyone who already dive in this subject can relate to. To be a successful one, formal education that we get is not enough. We have to unlearning or questioning to get a new perspective and insights. The architectural platform will take place to give another atmosphere of questioning, seek for the right questions for ourselves, and learning architecture. All right, without further ado, hi Joyee, are you ready?
Hi, thank you Nirma for the introduction. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm ready.
The floor is yours now.
Thank you so much. Hello everyone. Do I share my screen right now?
Yes, please.
Yeah, can you guys see the screen clearly?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. So again, thank you so much for the introductions and also a very detailed introduction of my background and the platform. I think you already said the most of it. Can skip my presentation now. Anyway, very nice to meet you all. Please, I'm very looking forward to the conversation afterwards because I feel like the conversation is more important than the presentation. So, but here we go. So very humble to speak here. Thank you again, Real Rich, for inviting me and the rest of the OMA team for having me today. It's an honor to speak on the same platform together with my fellow friends, Gary, Hazid, and Reski. So I'm going to show you a detailed timeline and also progress of Concrete Matters. Hope you enjoyed it. Okay. Also so I think Nirma already did an introduction of myself. I just wanted to point out that I think it's interesting in hindsight. Concrete Matter was curated when I was in a transition period whereby I was working for years and then I have to shift my mentality and attitude to be a student again. So for working so long in the working industry, I feel that it takes time and also it takes some reflection on your pride to unlearn and reflect on all the industrial knowledge that you have learned from work. So I'm not sure it occurs to anyone, but it seems to me that there's always two different sets of knowledge and skill sets required in working and academic. So I feel like the transition is very interesting. And also during that transition period, I have curated Concrete Matter, sort of like a platform subconsciously to question whatever I have learned and to learn it in a new way. So the name Concrete Matter has two meanings. The name is inspired using a homonym, which is words having the same spelling or pronunciation but different meaning and origin. So for the first instance, concrete, known as the building material, when pairs up with the words matter, the latter means important, significant. So for example, the sentence right here, I think concrete doesn't matter, saying that the building concrete is not important. But in the second instance, whereby concrete can also be understood to describe something that is not abstract. And then when you pair up with the words matter, it becomes a noun. It means that it's not an abstract subject. So for example, I think social inequality is a concrete matter that we need to address. So the play of words here simply explain the two roles that this digital platform aims to be. Firstly, is to discuss architecture significantly. Secondly, is also to discuss the issues that architecture is trying to solve, be it social, political, economical, or environmental issue. Because sometimes solutions cannot be found through the lens of architecture. Like being an architect, we were wanting to use architecture to solve a problem, but often it's really hard. But you have to understanding the problem itself by staying curious that is this the only solution to the problem or is there another solution? So the platform therefore carry this ambiguity, playful and curious attitude into each session of the sharing. Curiosity is very important, so you won't walk on the same path that you are told to. So I would like to resonate that spirit with the painting here. I'm sure a lot of you know this painting. Is the anatomy lessons of Dr. Nicholas Tube in the 1632 by Rembrandt. The anatomy lessons shows that the professor is explaining the muscular structure to a group of doctors as the doctors probes the anatomy of the cavalier left arm with an instrument in his right hand, while in his left hand, he demonstrates the movements of which the left hand is capable and illustrate their dependency on their autonomy. I like this painting because of two reasons. It is a beautiful expression of scientific knowledge as well as fine arts, just like architecture. And also secondly, the doctor here seems that as we've seen, they're like bending their backs, leaning forward and listen with much curiosity on their face. But I'm sure like all of them are in their mid-40s or 30s with their white beards. So sadly, I can't find any painting that shows architect with such composition, but like doctors and other professions, architects, it's a profession that requires a lifelong of learning and curiosity. So here we go. This is the first session of the sharing, happened on the 18th of April in 2020, with just 9 people in a Zoom call. As you can see, our background is in bedroom. We have no makeups on, messy hair, and we are laughing and we are talking. It begins with just a few friends having a chat afterwards. And as I mentioned, the setup, it's very simple with 2 speakers in each session and then 30 minutes sharing, 30 minutes Q&A. And then without knowing and through the words of mouth, the platform has slowly grown to more than 70 people joining the conversation at the height of the pandemic. So this is sort of like a morphology growth of the crowd. It's interesting in hindsight to see how it grew organically into a more structural format. I started to set up like a Google Sheets and to collect feedbacks from the audience, asking them, what are the questions that you have learned from this session? Not a statement, but a question. What are the questions you have learned from this session? And then also, what are the questions that you wish that it can be asked in the next session? So they started, the whole thing started to divide into seasons, and each season consists of 5 episodes. And as you can see on the table on the right hand side, each episode has its own theme. And then later on, I'm going to show you a few examples of like these sessions. And all these sessions are uploaded on Concrete Matter YouTube channel. So feel free to have a look if you want to. So a few things that I have learned from like curating all these things is actually the collective spirits and the community building. And I draw this comparison with the drawing here that depicts a pinnacle of the High Renaissance period, the School of Athens. It's by Raphael. So on first glance, it seems like everyone is having the same height and everyone is dressing more or less similar robe. There's no one stands out in particular in level or in hierarchy or in like any particular order. So this is the school of Athens. And then, but if you actually look closely, each character inside, they're all very important characters. So as you can see, the one in the middle, the elder Plato and his student Aristotle on the right. Plato is holding his book, the Timaeus, while Aristotle is holding Ethics. And then if you can see my mouse cursor, and to the left of the fresco, we can see the famous mathematician Pythagoras studying a large tome. And then Pythagoras believed the worlds operate under the influence of mathematical law. And to the right, we can see mathematician and astronomer Ptolemy. He's attempted to use mathematical reasoning to explain the movement of the planet. And also you can see a woman right here looking straight right into you. It's Hypatia of Alexandria. It's the first woman who documented to have made a substantial contribution to the development of mathematics, astronomy, and philosophy, and to have done so openly in her own name as a woman. And also the writer at the bottom over here is believed to be Michelangelo, or it could be the Greek philosopher Heraclitus. So what I'm trying to say from this painting, and what I really like about this painting, is that I feel like it has a sort of like an affinity towards that what we have today about learning in a digital world. There should be no hierarchy, and there is no hierarchy in learning as compared to what we have in a physical classroom. The teacher or the lecturer who believe is to be the knowledge provider is standing on a podium, a platform, and we have spotlights onto him, and then everyone is listening to that one person. And even though you wanted to ask a question, you almost feel intimidated to raise your hand in such a big crowd, eyes on you. But in today, whereby there's an opportunity whereby you are able to learn without hierarchy, everyone is just bound to the same dimension of box. The speakers is among you. It's almost like a musical chair. You don't even know who's the speaker, and you can ask questions in your own comfort zone. And I feel this sort of learning sort of like open up a new realm. And I want you to think about the notion of learning, the notion of school when you're given this kind of opportunity. And I believe that Alma Library is such a good platform, such a good example for this kind of digital learning. Here, I would like to show you a few selected sessions from Concrete Matter in the past. So for example, episode 5, we talk about objects. We invited Kush Kush Bali from Indonesia, whereby they design beautiful and innovative furniture out from traditional and locally sourced vernacular material, such as bamboo, tiles. I think the one I'm showing on the right over here is an award-winning project. I think they got Indonesia Good Design Selection as People Choice Awards, whereby they're trying to create an artificial skin that mimics stingray. So rather than killing stingray for their skin, they make I think it's faux shagreen to look similar to the real skin. And then we also have Pamela Tan, a promising young designer and architect based in Malaysia right now, who is experimenting with large-scale 3D printing. So on the bottom right, she is printing an installation that shows, I think this project is called Eden Pavilion, that aims to blur the boundary between man-made wonders and the beauty of nature. And then going forward, we have another 2 young designers in the episode 7 of Concrete Matter, whereby we talk about technology. So Chong Yen Chua on the top right, he was a graduate from the Architectural Associate AA. He's a multidiscipline artist currently working in KL. His body of work touches various mediums ranging for digital arts, artificial learning, and also machine learning. And also on the bottom right, we have Jun Hao, who is running his own firm called Pow Ideas, working briefly with Tom Dixon, with a quite renowned British light designer. So he is bringing the same idea back in Malaysia and questioning that how can we make the creative scene in Malaysia much more burgeoning. And then he was experimenting with this abandoned structure, and then he installed this very modern light installation onto it. And then moving forward, in episode 20, we invited 2 award-winning architectural scholars as well. We have Sun Yan-Yi with his master thesis project, Seeds of Havana Dissolving Contender. It was nominated for Riva Silver Medal and also awarded the SOM Foundation Fellowship UK Awards. And on the bottom right, she is Siti Nurafa Ismail, and her project Architecture of Humility was awarded the Reba Norman Foster Foundation Traveling Scholarship. So all of these speakers, they are actually requested by the audience in the Google Sheet, as I mentioned before. The people are asking that, there's no question that is too beginners or too advanced. People are asking questions like, how do I win an architectural award? So we have someone who win the award to come and speak for them. So previously, how do I experiment with architecture and arts? So we have someone from the technology sectors and who is expert in the technology aspect of architecture and then come and speak about it. And then similarly, one of the popular sessions we have, it's Concrete Matter 12, running a practice. So I think a lot of us starting out working for a few years, and then at a certain point of our career, we wanted to have our own practice. So, but we don't know how to ask, where to ask. I mean, for those who are lucky, who their parents or family already running a business, that is fine. But for those who don't have anyone who is in the construction industry, you wanted to run a practice, where do you ask? So, and in the episode 12, we invited Nasmi Anwar, who is running his own practice, Normal Architecture in Malaysia, and Sailing, who is running her own practice in Singapore, OWNF. So we asked questions. So as you can see the format over here, we break like the whole sharing session into 10 questions, and then each question is supported by smaller questions that is submitted by the audience. So for example, at what point you decided to start your own practice, and then where are the budget and risks, how do you start monetize your design? And then it's all happening in a conversation. It's very transient, it's immediate, it's very impactful. So there is no filter, there's no prepare in advance, and everyone's just being very honest and very engaging in the conversation. And the 14th episode was also a very interesting episode because we were talking about a rather serious topic. The young architects and the designers in Malaysia were very concerned about their profession, in the sense that we spend so much money and so much time in perfecting our career, whether it will be recognized at the end of the day in our own country. Like we were talking about getting recognition, we were talking about admission, getting recognition with, so we're talking about like how do we get recognition under the Institute of Architect or PAM, Pertubuhan Architect Malaysia, because a lot of our schools, like when we studied and then returning, for example, if I were to study in the UK but returning back to Malaysia, I'm not exactly 100% sure that I will be recognized as an architect back in Malaysia. So I have to retake an exam. And then also we're talking about salary. Is the salary that I'm getting at the end of, I'm so sorry. Oh. Sorry. Whether the salary that I'm getting to at the end after my education worthwhile, that what I'm spending. And then also we are talking about the education and then whether someone can represent us of our voices to the Prime Minister or to the Institute. So I feel it's very important that the platform not just act as just a platform for chit chat, but also a platform whereby you can convey ideas and all these important messages to relative parties. And I believe that our colleague Haziq will bring out more in the next session in the curation of Lanai. And after each sharing session, each speaker is asked to produce a questions to summarize their work. So rather than just a quote and statement, I find that questions is much more intriguing. So you can, all these posts you can see on Concrete Matters Instagram as a digital archive for the audience to rethink about the discussion again, and more importantly, to ask the next question that matters in architecture for the world. And that's it. That concludes my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I apologize in advance if it's a very short presentation, but yeah, I would very curious that what would be your next question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joyee.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Oh yeah, shoot ahead.
What do you think the urgency of making a platform? What inspires you during the lockdown or during the 2020, and then you decided to, okay, let's do this. Let's make a platform.
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't think there was a intention of like making this thing into like something very big. It's definitely not as structured as Alma Library. So it's like the very first session that I showed. It's just like everyone gets so bored in the beginning of lockdown, especially when you're doing design in an office and then you don't have someone to talk to share to. And that's why the platform comes about. Everybody just gather after work and then it just roll from there. People are like, oh, we have this platform whereby everyone just join and talk. So it's just start from 9 people to 10 people, 15 people, 20, and then to 70. And it never intended to be monetized as well. How it runs is in the structure that people donate if they want to after each session. And then if not, it's fine. You can join for free and then you can just leave as you want to. Yeah.
Okay. I kind of reminded about back then when I was student. We might know what subject we like in college. Let's say construction or maybe architecture theory. And there are also some subject we want to avoid. Let's say for me, it's always subject related to mathematics. Through your process of inviting speakers, which they bring various topic on your platform, how do you open up to study topic that unfamiliar with you, or you used to not really like it before?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Sometimes I got intimidated as well when I invited the speakers because these are not my expertise. Like, when I was inviting them, I was like, oh my God, these are like they are so much expert, and then being the moderator to invite them, you must somehow have that kind of knowledge, right? But I think that's also precisely the reason that push you out from your comfort zone. And then because you don't know, therefore you invite and then you ask them to speak. And I guess that's the same because but I guess it's also the curiosity that I have in me is greater than the humiliation or embarrassment that I'm gonna get. Like, I'm more curious to learn rather than I'm more afraid to be humiliated or being embarrassed. Yeah.
Okay. We have a question from the chat room from Nurul. Can I know the web of Concrete Manor, please?
Yeah. Concrete Matter doesn't have a website, but we do have a YouTube page and also Instagram page, so I can send it here.
Do you have any plan to make a website for Concrete Matter?
Not at the moment. Yeah, because I guess one interesting thing that I wanted to, sorry, let me just highlight. Okay, this is the Instagram, and let me this is the, I believe this is the YouTube channel.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
We have a question from Gary here. Hi Gary, do you want to say it on yourself?
Gary is busy.
Oh yeah. Okay, then I will read the question from Gary. What do you see in the decision you made to study part 2 in London, especially comes to learning?
I think what do you see in the decision you make to study part 2 in London, especially coming to learning? Okay, like, why do I come to London and study my master's instead of like anywhere else? I guess that's the question, Gary. As in, uni is formalized, concrete matter more informal. Well, I can't get my part 2 recognition by studying from concrete matter, right? If concrete matter is that successful that everyone studying in concrete matter can get part 2, then I think I'll be rich as a uni already. Yeah, I think I just want to highlight on the point that yes, informal learning can be everywhere, but I guess it's still in a process whereby informal learning can be dominate the entire market, would you say? Like right now, everywhere on the website, you can actually take individual courses and start to self-learn. But I think it still takes some time for the entire society or the structural world to recognize that informal learning. So therefore, I still go for the proper formalized uni part 2 education. And also, I guess keeping an open mind is very important when it comes to curiosity and also unlearning something. So like, for example, I just want to share a bit of like from my experience. Like from where I come from, like always in Asia, Singapore and Malaysia. And then even in my education and my practice, I'm already so into it. And then when it comes to a completely different culture, like for example, UK, and then they have a very different way of design thinking and even ideology. So say a very simple example, housing. Like we design house in Indonesia or any part of Southeast Asia, right? As if it's a product, as if it's a commodity. Like we design luxurious house, it's very normal, right? We design and then we sell. But it's very different ideology in the UK here, whereby houses shouldn't be a product. Houses should be a human rights, where you design a houses and then everyone should deserve houses. So that kind of ideology, it crushes you, and then you have to think about, so right now, what do you think about houses? Do you think about house should be just like a product, it's just like a handbag you buy, or houses shouldn't be something that you can buy, it should be given to everyone when they are born? That kind of thinking. Yeah, if that drift away too far from the from the question that Gary asked. Yeah.
He says, or is it also coming from comfort zone?
Sorry, it's also coming from comfort zone. Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, if one day informal learning, I mean, it would be nice to see if one day the world doesn't need any recognition anymore, but it's also very utopian and idealized world to think of it. Like, imagine you don't need to have any certification and then you can do anything. That also has a question. It's a questionable decision also. I don't know how to answer that. Yeah.
All right. Reski in here too. Hey, Kak Reski, do you want to open mic?
Hi, Reski.
Hi.
Hi, what's
Hello.
up? Hi.
Sorry, it's so crowded in here. Jadi, I think I will mute. I already write my questions in the chat.
Yeah, I saw it though. You were asking about how do I integrate the methodology such as my curation towards the topic to my studio, right? Yeah. Well, as you can see, I think Atelier. Wait, what was the second question? Do you see any rate knots connection between the two practice?
Yeah.
Oh. Thank you for the question. Yeah, I definitely see a relation between two, but as you can see, concrete atelier doesn't have much work yet. But I think the idea of curiosity is still embedded in the atelier. And also I like the idea of concrete, as in concrete, not as in the building material itself, but more like it's something not abstract. So I like the idea of experimenting with like materiality, like something you can see more than that it's something in the air or paper architecture. That kind of
The plasticity attitude of the concrete, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so can I extend this topic into another question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I want to ask, what's the methodology between your curation of guests? I think if you try to curate and bring guests and you categorize those guests into certain seasons with certain themes, I think you have a particular idea of what you want to extract from each season, right? It has to. I think it would be interesting if you can also extract and divine a methodology behind that. I think it would be a very nice exercise, and I'm very intrigued with your selection of panels, and hence the question of how you would adopt the methodology in concrete matter, which is something very fun to fill in the pandemic difficult. So yeah, I think that would be my question. I know it's a bit rhetoric, but if you would answer, I will be very great. Thank you, Joyee.
No, thank you for the question. I mean, I'm quite happy that you point out, because to be very honest, it's really a bit of luck and everywhere. I mean, I would like to throw the question back to Nirma and also Reski as well, because you guys have your own curation of like digital discussion, right? And then you guys invited speakers for Dara Muda or Total KELADI, and then you guys must have like an idea behind. In a way, three of us are curators at the moment. I mean, and then my concrete matter, it's more of like, yes, I begin with having an idea of it's more like so as I mentioned earlier, I will have a Google Sheets, right? And then it was sent out to the audience, and then the audience fill in the sheets and ask like what are the questions, so what are the topic that they wanted to see. So from that topics and from that questions, right, you sort of can see what are the general interests of these young architects in Malaysia or the young designer in Malaysia. And then from there, it's very easy for you to categorize, oh, the broad umbrella of technology, the broad umbrella of arts, whatever. Therefore, from there, and then only you try to find speakers to fit in, and that's it. And also sometimes it's also through the audience. The audience reach out to me by themselves and say that, oh, I really like about your session, and can I volunteer and speak for it for the next session? And then so from there you match their expertise to other speakers under the same umbrella. Yeah, so it's something very organic. I wouldn't say that it's something that is like intentionally to go for it, but it will be interesting if I have a methodology that comes with it. I mean, it'll be interesting that to see like a museum curator whereby they started off with just a phrase or like a poem or like a book, and then, oh, from this book I want to find a speaker to talk about it. Yeah, I haven't gone to that part yet, but yeah.
All right. I think best of luck to Concretenator and Atelier Concrete as well. We'd love to be
Thank you. Thank you, Reski.
Thank you, Kak Reski.
Hi, Nirma.
Hey, Kak. Nice to see you again. All right.
One more question, is it? I saw Hendra.
Oh yeah, from Hendra Yahya.
Hi, Hendra.
Hi, Hendra. Do you want to open mic?
Hello, Joyee.
Hi.
I just want to ask you about the difference between studying in the UK and the Malaysia.
Oh, okay, sure. Are you working at the moment or are you a student?
I'm working.
Oh, that's great. Have you got your master as well, or?
I'm planning to get my master too in the UK.
Ah, I see. That's great. See you here then. I can't. Well, I can provide some insights, but I don't think I can provide a very exact comparison, simply because I study in Malaysia for my undergrads and I study in UK for my postgrads right now. So I think in terms of postgrads and undergrads, they have already some differences in them.
Yes.
But in general, I'll just speak in general of experience. I would say in the how do I put it in the good way? If I would say that if, let's say, you already have your undergrads back in Southeast Asia, I think it's very good for you to go to the UK or somewhere else outside of your the places that you grow up or study in, to learn about different culture. The main reason being that it's very, very different right here in terms of ideology, and also the way they think is very philosophical and also more abstract in a way. So I would definitely encourage, to be honest, and also do it while you are young, because at this period of time where our mind is letting all these influences to influence us at this age, right? And then it will subconsciously influence your work subsequently. So yeah, I think I would encourage. The main difference being it's the design thinking and their work. It's very different here. You should.
Okay, thank you, Joyee. Actually, I'm not young anymore.
Huh?
I'm not young. I'm already 43.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Then it's good. That's even good. Which means you are the very good example of lifelong learning. I love it.
I like learning.
So you
Thank
still
you.
intended to get your master's somewhere else?
Yes, of course. I already applying to University of Bath.
Oh, lovely, lovely, nice.
What do you think of that university?
I think it's great. I think it's great. I have met friends from there, and I think it's a good place to learn as well. The school is very competitive. They have good works. They have very good works. Yeah, I think you should.
Okay, I want to ask you the difference between the Master of Science and Master of Architecture.
Oh, okay. What are the difference?
Yes, what is the difference? Because I'm a bit confused.
I think Master of Science, I think it involved a bit more on the environmental design. This is what I heard. I'm not sure. I think in more precise, you need to check with the school. But I think they learn more about environmental impact. Like they have a bit of like engineering, like analysis, as compared to Bachelor of Architecture, where they have much more creative inputs, if you want to put it that way. But both of the courses, they are recognized by the RIBA Part 1, the Royal Institute of Bachelor British Architecture.
From your opinion, what is the more important, more have impact on the future, on your future?
I can't advise that though, to be honest, because I take a bachelor in science in architecture back in Malaysia, but it very depends on like what kind of masters. Are you intended to get your master in the UK as well?
Yes.
Then you need to plan the whole thing. I think I really can't advise on that.
Okay.
You need to talk to the admission. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joyee.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. I wonder how is the learning atmosphere in UK? Do they involve the student in many discussion or what?
Do they not involve student in discussion in Indonesia?
I guess not really intense, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can only speak for the assignment that I'm having right now. So yes, it's really based on discussion. And I guess the most important thing being that so the brief that I received back then in like bachelor, right? They are more prescribed, as in the brief is already written. This is your site. You need to design a library. This is your audience. This is your community. So design now. But as compared to, I guess the brief here is much more open. You determine your own brief. So I want to choose this site. And if other people choose that site, it's fine. And I make my own program and I choose my own community. And even though your lecturer disagree with you, you should, and you're encouraged to argue, to, you know, like this is your design and you argue. So I would say it's much more individuality, like as in like they encourage that to and I find that the individuality can be encouraged in platform like discourse platform like Concrete Matters or OMA, or even in Red Ski platform, because it was in the discussion, everyone get to express their own opinion. And the moment when you start to express your own opinion, you started to build your individuality. And that is very important, because I guess in our culture, we tend to like, we are very community meter. Like we always like follow what people say, or like what is the general crowd say. So the more of this platform, the more we can cultivate this kind of individuality, the better. And I think we lack of that in our culture. People here are very vocal, as in the students here, they like to express their own individuality. They talk a lot, they debate a lot, which is a very good culture, I guess.
I see. Hendra has another question. I forgot to ask, what course are you taking in the UK?
I'm taking Masters of Architecture, Part 2 REBA in University of Westminster.
Right.
And Reski has another question, right?
Okay.
The ever increased number of architects in Malaysia in regards to cooperation, how will you continue to play a partner? Increased number in Malaysia. Well, the thing is, I think two things to point out is that while there is an increasing number of architects in Malaysia, I don't think all of them is doing architecture. A lot of them are ventured out from architecture to do other creative field. And I think I'll see that as a two separate question, and concrete matters and idea concrete will play the partner landscape. I intended to. No, I never really thought of that, to be honest. I've never thought of it to like wanting to disrupt the industry and then do something like very bombastic. I think this is just like a small platform that I just want to experiment, and I'll just keep it to myself and just be humble and sincere with it. That's it. Yeah, if that makes sense. Because I believe that there are so much more talented people back in Malaysia, and then they all have their own niche platform, and then they all have their talents to shine. So if I were to, because at this point I wouldn't know like where I will be in the future. So if I were to go back and also it will be collaboration with the talents back in Malaysia or in Indonesia. You never know, right? Yeah.
Thank you, Joyee.
Oh, don't worry. I have a question. It's more like I think it's more towards Nirma and Redsky, if you guys can answer. So I was just wondering that how you guys find the energy and the resources and planning to sustain your platform, because as we have known, I think Gary can answer as well if Gary's still on the line. Like it takes a lot of time and effort to plan an event. So I'm just wondering that what is keeping you guys going, or like is there a planning every time, like because it takes time, it takes effort. So how do you like keep going?
Maybe Kak Reski want to answer first.
The energy and resources, yeah. How you manage that? Or can you repeat the question, Joyee? Sorry.
Yeah, don't worry. It's more like, because I think the platform that you guys are having right now is also a non-profit platform. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how you guys find time, resources, and energy to continue?
Yeah. The way I do it is, again, it's from our own pocket. That's for sure. And yeah, that's the first. But I think to answer the question of sustainability, I can divide the answers into two categories. The first one is about the money thing, right?
Yeah.
About the money thing, we cannot, aside from the sponsorship, we are basically do by our own financing situation, and but up until now we are still looking for sponsorship. Like any sponsorship would do, like collaboration from university, maybe collaboration for university, collaboration with professors, collaboration with lecturers in the campus. That's how we do it. And the second thing is not only just about the financing situation. I think the factor of sustainability also relates to how we do things consistently. And the way I adapt to that and the way I sustain is I always change the events, Like one time we are do the same thing like Concrete Matter, like we invite guests and we invite others to listen to the guests. When I get bored, which is related to sustainability, I change the events into a book session. And when I'm bored again, I change the events into some news review. You know?
I see. But I wonder, like, how is that? Because like you are the curator of it, right? So you have the final autonomy towards the entire session. I wonder how does that react with the audience? Like, is the audience okay with the change?
Yeah, I think there's a benefit of being a small community. You know, there's still a minimum reach, so you don't have this affinity to like overthink your future guests or future listeners, right? So
Yeah.
while it's still small, you can always change, and I think the change, or you might say organic. I think it's still the best way to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the way to also learn what is the context. What's the event that really relate to the context? I think we just keep trying and evolving. You know, like
Yeah.
you hit the wall, change it, change it again, change it again,
Wow.
until you're not bored again with the events. And
Smart.
as we are, as me and several of my friends behind Rembukars, is basically we are still a small group, right? So that's the way we always intended to do, because the first benefit of the platform is we updating ourselves, and we learn what we want to learn. We make the event for us to learn. So it's a bonus if anyone wants to join us in the learning process. Yeah, so I guess it's more of a, it's about an insider interest, I guess.
Yeah. I think that also answered the question that Nilma asked me earlier, like when I invited the speakers, but I don't have the same knowledge as the speakers, but it's also something that I want to learn, therefore I invited them. A bit selfish insider side of it. Thank you, Reski, for your answer.
Yep.
Thank you, Kak Reski.
Nilma?
For me, in Omah, actually, the ideas mostly from Kak Rich. You know, he is amazing. He feels like he never run out of ideas. You know, I don't know if I can answer because I'm actually still new in here.
Okay.
It's about 3 months, I guess, in here. Maybe Mas Satria can answer it better. Hello, Mas Satria.
Satria, hey, don't shy, come. Just joking.
Hey.
I just put on my hat. Okay, thank you for the question. Actually, if I would say Oma is non-profit is complete too, because we also have support from the Relic Studio. So to maintain our energy, so we have to collaborate with one more. In Omah itself, we sell books, we written books, and sell it. So it gives us more financial thing from that effort. But basically, we love to share knowledge. So then, from that point, we like to have lectures. From 2015, if I'm not wrong, we started as a small library. With the same support from the studio. So I think if we want to sustain in what we love, we have to first find the energy from greater one. like the studio, or you have some sponsorship which in line with you.
Mm.
I think the internet today is very fast and very updated. Like Patreon, you heard, you know Patreon. You can use Patreon for generating your own financial by having loyal people who want to update from you and anything. And yeah, I think the way we will have in the future is very, very fast, very digital. As today, we still have required from financial support from selling, and I think that
If I'm allowed to expand, thank you, Satya, for your answer. If I'm allowed to expand a bit of that notion, because when you mentioned about internet, it reminds me of something that I've said before, is that because of the available technology that we have on hand, and also everyone can have a platform on social media. Like, to be honest, whatever, it just need a Zoom platform and that's it, that's all you need, and also subscription to it, and then you can have your own brand, your own platform. So with that technology on hand, and maybe with a more bold risk to take a bolder risk, I'm so sorry, then I feel like everyone can have their own studio, their own atelier, their own startup. And that just makes me wonder, in the future of working, will everyone have their own startup and there will be no big companies anymore? And everyone just work on the mode of collaborations. So instead of in the past, whereby resources are limited and everyone upon graduation, they just work with a big company and then for 20 or 30 years, and that's it. That seems like the path of it. But to me, it seems like that path is going to change. But it's already changing, to be honest. You already see that there's so much small firms, so much smaller teams nowadays, maximum 10 people, 3 people, 5 people. And then they have their own small groups and then their own niches. Or this person, they're doing architecture, but also at the same time, they do much more in advertising. This person who is very good in 3D, this person is very good in airplane design, for example. So everyone has their own special niche, and it's just 3 to 4 people. And then I just imagine a future whereby this sort of like small scale collaboration is happening everywhere, and then you no longer need a big scale high tower office. You need a village, and that's what the idea of co-working space. And then that everyone is just on their own, and then I think that is just beautiful in a sense. Like, it's so nice, and I think that is possible. Yeah, I just have that kind of thoughts.
I agree with you. Yeah, in this day, because of the pandemic, you know that everyone try to live with their own, surviving in their own. So village have quite tendency in this today's work. We invited one of the pioneer in Indonesia before in contextual method. He is Singgih Kartono. He think this kind of idea, having spreaded startup in the village is possible because the advancement of technology and so on. So I think it's very interesting to know. But besides of the every specialization in each collaboration, I think it still requires some big company to have their starting point to learn some, I don't know, in
Yeah,
the future.
definitely you will have big companies who will monopolize the entire market, and then definitely you have someone who's doing much more better than the other one. So, but I'm just thinking, and the idea of like everyone is possible to do their own startup, and then that is just amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And you are the good one.
Huh? No. I mean, I feel like I got inspired like by you guys as well. I was inspired by so many other people who are doing so much great thing out there. So I'm just one of it. And yeah, you guys, I feel like there's so much would you say that there's much more freedom in
Yeah.
Indonesia? Like you guys have much more. Yeah.
Yeah, we still have at the moment.
Joyee, if you want to build a startup, what do you want to what kind of firm do you want to build?
Wow, that is a very tough question though. Well, I think I'm still open for exploration, but like I mentioned earlier, so I think concrete atelier is sort of like my first try of starting up. So I think if I were to have a firm in the future, I will keep it small, like really small, 5 to 10 people, and then maybe with their friends, and then we have the same ideology to work on something, and then yeah, that will be very nice.
Kind of reminds me of Kevin Lowe and
Kevin.
Wendy Theo as well.
Yeah, yeah, Wendy Atelier is very nice, and also Kevin works on his own, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I'm sure
he's a lone ranger.
Yeah, he is, but his work is so nice as well.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, I missed his talk yesterday, but I'm sure it's must be really good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but if you were to look at but I guess having diversity in your group is also a very important factor. Like not just people from among like the same circle or same background. When you have a diversity, I mean, it would be best to have a diversity because it brings in different connection from different parts of the world, and also ideology and as well as technology. So yeah.
All right.
Well, I think we have a very interesting chat. Fun.
Satria actually have a dream to build a startup too.
Is it like a studio?
Yeah.
His own studio?
I don't know.
Nice. I mean, you never know until you try, right? Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not easy. It's definitely not easy. I think, because I work in small firms in the past mostly, and then I have seen the struggles, and I mean, I have definitely seen like the upside of it, the good side of like working in a small firm, but I also seen like the struggle, the financial struggles, and also the hard work you need to put into it's because you are again compete with other people who have much more experience. As a startup, you need to like burn the midnight oil, stay until very late, until like produce something to get recognition in competition. So, but I think if you are doing something that is I feel like in life you need to do something that is worth the risk, you know. If you're not doing something that is risky, right, then it's not worth living it,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
Everything is just too safe, and then you're not risking anything.
Yeah.
But I think Frank Gehry said a quote about this. I think I hope you do something in life that is risk. You know, let me find the quote and I send to you guys. Sorry.
All right.
Yep.
I kind of want to flashback to the topic about curiosity because I'm still curious. I mean, how is your way to always asking, have question on your mind. How do you build up curiosity? And what if the process of when we questioning about architecture makes us walking too far from the position we used to be? What if the process of we questioning so many things makes us lost? How do you prevent it? How do you measure or calculate your process to find a new perspective, to absorb the information, to process the information, to help you stay focused on your plan? Maybe I bring it in to more philosophical way, but yeah, how do you, do you have any opinion about that?
No, I think that's a very good question, Nima. That's a very good question because I think everything has to have a balance in it. So I agree. I think my curiosity comes from my overthink as well. Like when you have, I think everyone has gone through overthinking, and then but overthinking is different from doubting yourself. Like you shouldn't doubt yourself, but I think it's good to give something a second thoughts every time when you look at it. And then but I think I give myself a time frame. So like for example, in the beginning of the project, the first week or the second week, you can just go all the way overthinking. You can just keep on thinking from different perspectives and different design and different questions about something. And then you give yourself, okay, that's it, time's up. By the time you need to know which direction you're going for, and then you go for with that, and then no more second questioning, because you need to have a balance. I mean, unless you are a poet, you are a philosopher, you can think your whole life lah. You can always think, and then that's what Greek philosophers do, right? They just keep on writing and thinking again, thinking. Yeah, but if let's say I'm just speaking strictly in the context of just designing something, then your questioning has to come to an end, and then after that you start to design. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But actually when I was a student in college, or maybe this is the same problem for my friends also. We find a hard. We sometimes it's hard for us to stop designing.
yeah.
We always feel this is still not perfect, and we keeping the process through to it. It kind of reminds me.
I understand. Completely understand. But let me ask. But then, if you were to ask the question, do you think there is a perfect building out there?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. If you
Kevin Lau actually says about that from the
sharing.
yesterday webinar. Yeah, nothing's perfect. Even his words.
Yeah. So if you were to able to ask that question, if you want to be perfect, and you ask yourself, is there a perfect building? Then you will start to have your answer already. So you know that design is endless, but then it's only constrained by the time and also the resources that you have. So not just in academic, but also in real life, right? In real life, you have a budget, you definitely have a time. So that is your constraint factors. So and also related back to the book that I read, I think Architecture of Happiness by Alan de Botton. So he was saying that no matter how perfect your creation is, right? So say for example a building, the moment you finish construct it is the moment that it starts to deteriorate. Like the moment you put on the ceiling tiles, and then 3 months later it starts to drip already. So even though you were to manage to sculpt a perfect sculpture, but it's also constrained by time, like the going of time, the dimension of time, you start to deteriorate anyway. So with that idea in mind, will you still want to, I'm not saying that you shouldn't design, like strive for the perfection, strive for something good for the humanity, but think of it as perfection is not permanent. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's why I think find the the best question or the most contextual question to your design to find the best solution is important thing in designing process.
True, true, true.
Mhm.
I agree with that. But I guess it's also finding rather than designing a perfect architecture, it's more like designing something that has a purpose and also represent your own ideology and philosophy. Like, what do you believe in, and then what is your voice? That is really important.
Regarding to your answer, have you worked on some real project with real client?
Back when I was working in my 4 years. Yeah, I did. Why?
Yeah. Based on your answer, because about finding the purpose, have you practiced it at that moment?
At the moment I'm studying, but before that I was practicing. And then I was dealing with like real client and real budget and real timeline, if that's what you're asking for. And it's very practical. It's very practical. And then that's why when I come back to academic study, right, and then it makes me question a lot of things also. Is that I questioned that like when I was working as well, because immediately when you work, you already realize that, oh, it's so different from what I study in degree. Because like in degree, in study, you still have like concept and whatnot, right? And then when you go to work, it's about something else, right? Also very depending on the firm that you work with. So, but for my personal experience, it's not so much. And when I come back to study my master's, I tried to bring in the same attitude that I have in work and back to study. So I see my lecturer as my client right now, and then I try to use the same method. And then when I learn, I tried to tell myself that like whatever I'm learning right now, is this applicable to my working in the future? Then because I feel like the gap between education and working profession, right? It has already been a very long discussion about it. Like there's always a gap, and how do we narrow that gap? But I think it's possible. It's just from, I think, the perspective of a student. How do you do it? Yeah. So because I have not like, I'm not looking forward to work in the UK and see whether the difference is it the same as in Asia, in Indonesia or Malaysia, because as what I see right now, it's still a difference back in where I come from, but I'm not sure about here. So I'm really looking forward to. Maybe I'll tell you guys after I learn after I work here.
Looking forward to your experience.
I don't know. Have you guys worked professionally before in a firm?
I haven't, but I do some freelance work in previous.
Okay.
Perhaps Nirma has another story.
I've been working as an intern, actually, not a staff. When I still a student back then.
So do you find what you learn in the school, it's really applicable in work, or like you are completely new when you're at work?
Not really, actually.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, working with real client is very different compared to when you present your design to the lectures. So, we're still learning.
I think I'm not sure, but it's just my opinion, because when you're doing your academic works, right, it feels like you are the boss of your company, or like you are the director of the company. This is my design. If you don't agree, get out, or something like that. But when you are working for someone, because you are under someone, therefore you are sort of like suppressed, therefore you're following orders and do. So I guess that is the main difference. That's why people feel different, because the hierarchy is different and how the real world works is different. So that's why I think the idea of like, if everyone can come out and do their own thing, right, then that will be different, I guess. The whole world will work differently.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to.
Are we taking everyone's time?
I want to bring it back to the topic about your platform. This is the same question I've asked to Reski from Rembuk from the first episode. How your platform concrete matter change you by far as a person? What is the difference between Joyee before concrete matter and Joyee after concrete matter was born?
I definitely make more friends, I think. I know you all.
That's really nice.
Yeah, I think I make more friends, and also to learn how to listen, I guess, because everyone has their own pride, as in like, oh, I have done something before, I think I know this better than you. But I think it takes practice to really like put away that pride, and then to really learn and acknowledge that, oh my God, this person is talented and it is good, and then humble yourself in front of everyone. So the more I curate, the more humble I am, because the more stupid I find myself is.
Yeah.
Joyee after concrete matter curation feel more stupid. No, like, because I feel like there are so many good people out there, and then to be so honored to listen to them speaking, it's a privilege already. So yeah, I'm not sure if you guys feel the same way. What did Reski say? Maybe I copy his answer. He left already.
He say more about disciplining his schedule, because
yes.
running a platform also takes time.
Yeah, it does. Like for example, concrete matter right now is actually, I would consider it as a project of a past, like last year, because it's already in a dormant state right now at the moment, because I'm so occupied with schools and other stuff. So I'm waiting for the right time to do something else with the platform. But at the meantime, it is a project that I'm really proud of that I have done before.
One of the greatest platform that I have. Because you have tidy the whole thing from emails and so on, and the documentation is great.
Oh,
by yourself.
I mean, it takes time to sort of like work out the flow too. Like, so in the past, there was like, it's a weekly thing.
Yeah.
So it's like every week. It was quite intense. Like, because it's so locked down, it gave me some time as well to find the speakers, rehearse with them, send the email before the event, send the email after the event, and then document up to YouTube, and etc. And then the whole cycle repeats.
Amazing.
I mean, you guys do the same thing as well. You guys can do
Yeah,
it.
but we have a group.
I feel you, Joyee.
Yeah, it's quite intense. Therefore, therefore I respect like you guys are still doing it, and then I'm still trying to find like a way to sort of like sustain it. So I'm still figuring out how to.
If I might ask, have you ever feel worried that what if this doesn't work, or along the way you kind of questioning, should I continue in this? Because have an idea to make something is one thing, but make it happen is another thing. How do you stay consistent about what you're doing? What motivates you?
All the time, like I was doubting myself all the time. like right now I'm not actually doing concrete matters, so I'm taking a break. So I think you don't have to force it, to be honest. If let's say, because I mean, I can say that because it is my own platform. It's different from OMA because OMA has an organization, like it's under someone. You guys are employed to do so, but this is my self platform. So if I want to take a break, I will take a break, and then I will just do it as my own self research platform. And when I'm ready, I'll just go out. So for me, it's I don't have much pressure as compared to you guys. So, but also I think Red Ski advice is quite good in a sense that just change when you're bored, you just change. That kind of like actions, it's quite good. Can just change, yeah.
Satria, do you have any other question before I ask the last question maybe? For
Is
Joyee?
this still live on Instagram? No.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god. I hope no one is watching. Okay. Sorry. You were saying?
Perhaps what the future projection of Meta? You have
Sorry, come on.
right now you have paused the because of your son. Do you have any projection? What will you do in the future? Concrete matter?
Do I have any projection that what?
About concrete matter in the future?
Short answer, no. But long answer will be, I think I share about this before, but I'm thinking of like a digital archive and like a library whereby everyone can just contribute something into it, because I still see it as a community project in a sense that everyone can just throw things into it and as a springboard, as a platform to something else. Because I feel like concrete matter doesn't have to be the final destination. It can be something that you throw a stone into it and then it has a ripple effect and then you go do something else. It's just for you to connect to different connections. Because I have seen like that happen in the past in concrete matter, like people join concrete matter and then they know other people and then they join and then they form something else greater, which is great, better than concrete matter, is fine. I mean, so long that you make connections in this platform, and I think that's what I want the platform to be. That's it.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you for the answer.
Thank you very much, Satria. My last question. By looking from concrete matter, what do you think that makes people engage on your platform?
What do I think that make people engage on the platform? I don't really get it.
What do you think people comfortable with concrete matter?
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's the atmosphere. Like in the past, when we chat during the Q&A session, everyone is just very relaxed and very comfortable. So we joke, like we talking, like we are talking like how we are talking just now. We were just like joking and then laughing, and then I guess it's also the comfort of like you don't have to switch on your camera. I think it's fine. Like you can just talk with a black screen behind the screen. And also the atmosphere of like me keep on joking around. Like I make a lot of like funny jokes, and then I think that kind of atmosphere is something that I feel it gets the audience so engaged with the discussion, because we don't have to take each other seriously, and then we don't have to take the topic too seriously, and then so there's no question that is too amateur or too advanced, so everyone can ask. So in the past, there has always, the audience has like students from year 1, and also you have teacher and also researcher, you have practicing architects, you have artists. So it's a mixed blend of every profession that you can find in the industry in the discussion. So I find that everyone is giving different inputs into the discussion, and that what makes it so dynamic and so nice.
Right. Before I conclude this session, do you have a closing statement for us?
No, I just said that keep learning and then keep curious, and then you can send me an email or anything if you want to chat or discussion. I think my email, I can type it now in the chat, but that's it. Keep curious. And I want to make friends. Just let me know if you want to chat. Okay, that's it.
All right. Thank you so much, Joyee. Let me
Thank you so much,
Bye.
Oma Library, for having
try
me.
to conclude this session.
Yeah, sure.
It reminds me of famous proverb that maybe you already know. Curiosity killed the cat.
Oh yeah.
If we look it on the different perspective, curiosity not really kill the cat, but it will take them to a new place. Let's say if they smell something delicious, maybe tuna or outside of their territory, and they going towards that smell, or maybe not place, but also a new experience. Along the way to the smell, the cat will walk through fences, let's say, or meet another cat, and then they fight, etc. Being curious can sometimes lead to dangerous or misfortune, of course, if we are too much questioning or overthinking about something unnecessary. That's why, like Joyee said, ask the right question is also important, especially the question for ourselves. What I want to do after this, do my dreams work for me and can make a good benefit for other people? How can I make it to reality, say? Or actually, the process of questioning it is really important for designers as we try to describe specific problems, or I will borrow Kevin Lowe's term, specific context, and find the most contextual solution about that. Joyee, I'm so pleased to having you here for sharing with Indonesian friend, hearing your story about your platform, and also discuss with you. And for audiences who's joining tonight, thank you for your enthusiasm. Our friends behind this event was helping to help this event. Satria, Lulu, Hanifa as well, and also Kak Rio Rich. Thank you so much. Don't forget, we still have Hazik from Lanai for the last episode of this session next month on 14 January 2002. You can check through their platform on Instagram at LanaiZine. So please stay tuned with us. Thank you very much. Also, I would like to remind you guys to follow Joyee platform at concrete.matter. You have YouTube also, right?
Yes.
Concrete Matter, yeah. And also previous speaker at Rembukars, and also at _Rembuku, and also Gary's platform at XYZ_projects. He has also podcast named XYZ Podcast, and also YouTube Project XYZ. All right, and I'll give back the session to the host, Lulu.
Okay, thank you, Nirma, as a moderator, and Joyee as a panelist tonight. I think it's a great discussion about energy, right? When say about energy, I think Joyee was give us the her energy tonight, so it's become more expressive, the discussion. I think the secret thing before I closing, before it, can everyone here open your camera to take a picture after this? And I think the secret thing from Joyee is like when she was built a concrete matter is first because they are overthinking and then sees curiosity and then she's expressed in the platform. I think that's a great thing to give us the spirit. So guys, don't just overthinking. Let's express our ini and then make a small collaborated and then small and then big together gitu, like that. It's a great,
Nice.
I think, Joyee. And so I think you one of the restless spirits like Omah Library Philosophy.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, guys. Before we are take a picture, I remember again. Can you open your video? We will meet from face to face in here and then take a picture together.
Sure.
Okay, I will waiting for you all, guys. Okay,
Mata.
I think
Alejandra. Hi. When do you intended to come to the UK? Like the coming September?
Yes, next year.
Awesome, awesome. Looking forward then. Just let me know if you're ever in here.
Okay, sure.
Cheers.
okay, guys, I will take a picture and I will say 1, 2, and 3, and then give your smile and energetic face tonight. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think enough. Thank you.
Thank
for all
you.
the participants tonight and for Joyee was giving us the knowledge, the energy. And
Thank
then
you.
so
Thank you.
all of the who joined the discussion tonight. Thank you, and then see you again in the Almost Libraries class.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Joyee.
Thank you,
Joyee.
Thank you,
Joyee.
guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.